told to speak for a few minutes about connecting with the Quran and getting strength from the Quran. And there's many stories of prophets in the Quran and the story of great people. But I would like to speak about non-prophets in the Quran. Non-prophet. I'm not talking about the organizations. Because all of us were for profit. There's no non-profit in Islam. Did you get the joke? Seemed like, okay. My children always ask me that, why I have to explain my joke. If I explain it, it's not a joke. Commentary on the joke. Now, the stories of non-prophets that are in Surah Al-Kahf, for example. In Surah Al-Kahf, there's how many stories? There are 4 stories. 3 of them about people who are not prophets. One of them about a prophet. Who's the prophet in Surah Al-Kahf? Musa alayhi salam. You're doing your homework, you're reading Surah Al-Kahf every Friday, mashallah, that's great. Those 3 stories talking about ordinary people. Ordinary people who made a difference. And how they understood really how to deal with difficult situations, but also to understand how to relate to the ni'mah, the gift of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them. And the first story in Surah Al-Kahf is about whom? About people of the cave, Ashab al-Kahf. And this story about young people. But also is about resistance, about resilience, about standing up. And the Quran described them as fitatun amanu rabbihim wazidnahum huda. Our young people have faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They made this journey of faith. And we have understood in the Quran that when we make an effort to walk toward Allah, what happened? You walk toward Allah this much, Allah to work toward you what? This much. If you walk toward Allah this much, Allah walk toward you this much. If you walk toward Allah, Allah toward you. This hadith. Hadith Qudsi. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, they have faith that Iman wazidnahum huda will increase them in guidance. And as that gift was given to them of Iman and guidance, they stood against the social norms in the society at the time. For it stood up. One of their characteristics is qamu, stood up against the social norms, the injustice, the tyrants of their time. As a result of that, they ask in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bestow mercy upon them and to guide them in their affairs. Give them rahmah and rushd. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gifted those people a gift that become verses in the Quran. What gift he did give them? When sometimes people said to me, I don't know what to do. It's not going to do any change in America. It's not going to help. Doesn't make any difference. You heard that before or not? Frustration. It's not going to make any difference. Sometimes the difference happens after 20 years, after 50 years, after 100 years, after 300 years, but it starts with you and I. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave those people a chance to see the difference. What did he do? He made them to what? Well, what's happened? Hungry, ate too much. What did he do? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have them to go sleep for how many? 300 years. Who said 109? Allah says so. Allah used the solar calendar and the lunar calendar. You know that or not? 300 years, solar calendar. 309 years, lunar calendar. If you are 33 years old sitting in this crowd, I have bad news for you. You are 34. Because every 33 years, one more year. For 300 years, 309. 309. When they get up of their sleep, they were worried about going to society that was persecuting them. But when they stood up, they caused what? Other people to stand up. They didn't realize the whole society have made change and falsehood did not remain. After 309, they come to discover the world have changed. Not only that, the world changed so much that the people, when they discover who they are, who they were, they decided to make a monument in their name. They said, we cannot let this history, those noble people, will go without recognition. They said, what they're going to do? Ibn alayhim, masjidah. They said, we'll build a masjid. My dear brothers and sisters, history is always on the side of people who do the right thing. You might not see it in your lifetime. I might not see it in my lifetime. I have to be visionaries. You have to think, not this moment. Second generation, third generation, fourth generation, like Ibrahim alayhi salam was thinking. When Ibrahim alayhi salam have built the Kaaba, him and Ismail, they thought about the generation to come. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَنْ يَرْغَبْ عَنْ مِلَّةِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ إِلَّا مَنْ سَفِهَ نَفْسَهُ وَلَقَدْ اصْطَفَيْنَاهُ فِي الدُّنْيَا وَإِنَّهُ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ إِذْ قَالَ لَهُ رَبُّهُ أَسْلِمْ قَالَ أَسْلَمْتُ لِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ وَوَصَّى بِهَا إِبْرَاهِيمُ بَنِيهِ وَيَعْقُوبَ يَا بَنِيَّ إِنَّ اللَّهَ اصْطَفَى لَكُمُ الدِّينَ فَلَا تَمُوتُنَّ إِلَّا وَأَنْتُمْ مُسْلِمُونَ. Ibrahim alayhi salam passed the legacy of Tawheed to his children and grandchildren, and his fourth grandchild, which is the children of Yaqub. When Yaqub alayhi salam telling them, don't die except in Islam. That's the dua of their father Ibrahim. When Ibrahim alayhi salam made dua when building the Kaaba, he made dua for Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. You know how many centuries between Rasul sallam and Ibrahim alayhi salam? Rasul sallam قال دعوة أبي Ibrahim. I am the prayer of my father Ibrahim alayhi salam, the dua of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Therefore, when you get frustrated with circumstances, what you see in the world today, remember Ashab al-Kahf. Plant the seed. And may Allah make it blessed, and the fruits of it might be not seen in my generation, but seen in generation to come. At the time of Imam al-Ghazali, people took the book of Imam al-Ghazali and what did they do with it? They burned them. And they spit on the face of Ibn Rushd. How Ibn Rushd became known? As Faylasuf al-Sharq, the philosopher of the East. Imam al-Ghazali been known today as what? Hujjat al-Islam. Be optimistic. But the Surah Al-Kahf tell the story of people that they have seen in their lifetime, long life, 300 years and 9, of generations. That's a miracle. So the result. I would like always to stick to time. This is my habit. I don't speak over time. Inshallah, we're going to wrap this very quickly. The second story, because I don't have time to go to the other two stories. The second story is the end of the fourth story, and the end of the surah. What the story that? Huh? What? Dhul Qarnayn. Dhul Qarnayn is the man Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have given him what? Power. It's not Alexander the Greatest. I disagree with Yusuf Ali on that. But he was a man of power. But he went to people that were worried about whom? What they worried about? What the group that's raiding them all the time and taking their properties and so forth. What their name? Ya'juj and Ma'juj, huh? When they ask the people whom Ya'juj and Ma'juj raiding them all the times, oppressing them, when they ask for help, they say, Dhul Qarnayn, we're going to pay you money, you're going to protect us. Bring your army, hire people. We're going to hire you. What did he say to them? What did he say to them? He said to them, I'm not going to do it for you. I'm going to be a project manager. I'm going to manage the project. Atuni Zubar Ish Al Hadid. You guys have iron, you have oil, iron and all the minerals. You have the resources, but you're not utilizing your resources. American Muslims, we're not poor, are we? We have sent billions of dollars overseas. Am I correct? We're not poor community. We're a highly educated community. We should not underestimate ourselves. We need just to discover our resources, put them together. What Dhul Qarnayn did the project management. He said, I'm going to inspire you. I'm going to inspire you to do what's right. Don't be lazy, he said to them. Do this, do that, and you can build a wall. But it came from them. He motivated them. But when we read the Quran telling us how to seek strength, was called self-discovery. As individuals, as a community, we need to discover our strength. And by discovering our strength, that we come to realize that we have a power that we thought we don't have. That's what Dhul Qarnayn reminded those people. He said, you could have done it without me, but he inspired them. He didn't do it for them. The last thing I want to say, because I was told to stop at 7:50, I have 2 minutes. I would like to say that when you read the Quran and you read the story of prophets, a story of people who have struggled, you and I, can we see ourselves in them? My sisters, you can see yourself in the story of Maryam alayhi salam. You can see yourself in the story of Asiya alayhi salam. Young people, you can see yourself in the story of people of the Kahf, the cave. And the wealthy people can see this really their story in Sulaiman alayhi salam. And the more vulnerable people can see their story in Surah Al-Buruj. All of this meant to inspire us. لَقَدْ كَانَ فِي قَصَصِهِمْ إِبْرَةٌ لِلْأَلْبَابِ. Very surely in the stories, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said for those people, are lesson to all of us, meant to inspire all of us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the strength, especially in this difficult time. Be optimistic. In the dark nights, stars are brightest. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.